Hey guys, 2 weeks in, no games. It's officially time to worry. This is RamView. Oh, I'm talking about Dylan McMahon. Live from the RamCave, I'm Joe Terosian, and this is RamView, the August 18th, 2025 edition, brought to you by Kistler Law. Injured in an auto accident, need help, got questions, call Kistler Law at 661-206-6990. That's Kistler Law at 661-206-6990. Also, check out KistlerLawFirm.com. That's one word, KistlerLawFirm.com. Kistler Law, they've been fighting for you since 92. And by Temple City Auto Repair. Having some auto issues, get yourself some John and Henry at TempleCityAutoRepair.com. I'm worried about Dylan McMahon. Oh, you mean Stafford? Yeah, that was pretty good news today. As Bill puts it, this is a glorious day for the Rams. Yes, it is. Let's see, USA Expat. Well, should we get into that or should we not get into that? Let me knock out a couple of things here. Yes. Great day for the Rams. I said on Friday's show that the news going out of Stafford's Saturday workout would tell me if it was really time to worry. Stafford worked out, and then the Rams did something that really put a lot of fear in everybody is they went dark. Now, Steve Ramirez is here. My experience is that when somebody goes dark as a sports writer, it's a coach, a team, maybe a organization or something, or a player. When they go dark, nothing good is going to happen. Nothing good comes out of it. Otherwise, they never go dark at all. I fully expected to wake up this morning to the news that Stafford was being placed on the IR. Instead, mid-morning, I get a report and video of Stafford at Helmet and Pat's Hod playing football. Everything got a bit brighter today, as Bill was saying. The coffee tasted better. The AC was cooler. And the last 9 days of my troublesome vacation feels like it might be salvageable. So I am happy to be here and enjoy with this news with you guys. Let's check out. You guys are already here. USA Expat, Steve Ramirez, Bill, you're all throwing questions. Let's get to them. USA Expat, Rams draft well, but their coaches are just as impressive in developing these players. Okay, we're going to cover the whole gamut here. You guys read my notes. I was thinking the same thing. Bill said, I think Bennett has passed Jimmy G. I don't know if he's gone that far, but not bad. Steve Ramirez, no, it should be Wynn's game. I'm thinking almost the same thing there too. Let's see. Steve Ramirez thinks Dresser Wynn should play game 3 of the preseason. No one who has an above chance to make this team should play. Amen. Bill, does Pressey, I think you're thinking of Brennan Presley, who had 100 yards, make the roster of the practice squad? Well, I officially awarded him the Nelson Spruce Award this offseason with that catch on 4th down. Let's see. USA Expat, what would you do if the Rams received trade offers for Bennett? That's USA Expat. Let's see who else answers that yet. Bill, is Willie Lampkin okay or headed for the IR? I didn't see an update on Lampkin at all. USA Expat, Reader or Dolak, that could be a major roster decision. USA Expat, stash him on IR. I think we're talking about Lampkin there, right? Bill, I would trade Bennett. At this point, I wouldn't trade Stetson Bennett, not at all. Best third-string quarterback and fit in the NFL right now for a guy that's been in the room for 3 years. He's been on this in this organization. He is the guy the organization thought they were getting. They like him. I don't think they ever envisioned him as a starter, but he's been around, and now he's starting to pay dividends a little bit. You're seeing a much better arm than any of us thought. The aggressiveness. Remember we were talking 2 weeks ago, and I share this again, not as a slam of the Locked On guys, but I heard the Locked On podcast share that let's go safe with Stetson. He doesn't have to win the Super Bowl, and we argued back that no, he's turning 28. It's his third season with the Rams. He needs to let it fling. and there was nothing soft about Stetson Bennett's game these first 2 weeks, and he was exceptional on a Saturday night or Saturday afternoon. And I wouldn't trade him because, hey, I was 2 months out of my surgery and I tweaked the wrong way and I got laid up for a few hours and was pretty scared. Stafford might be out throwing the ball, looked good throwing the ball today, but a little tweak here or there, you never know. And so Jimmy G is a bit of glass jaw in his career. Doesn't mean he's not ready to play. So I like the Rams' depth at the quarterback room. Unless somebody wants to offer me a first-round pick for Stetson Bennett, who would do that? Oh, the Browns would probably do that, right? And I'm getting the feeling by week 6 the Steelers might too, because I think they're in trouble this year. Just pushing Steeler fan Rob's buttons. But yeah, I would not trade Bennett at this point. USA expat, will the players who don't make the roster all be claimed from teams with McVay's coaching tree? That's a great question to keep an eye on there. Yeah, there's always that possibility. We're going to like all these guys, but you're going to lose them because, not everyone's going to make it through waivers. Not everyone's going to make it through. So maybe a Willie Lampkin, whatever the deal was, is a convenient timing. If it's just a tweaked ankle or something, he goes on IR. I'd feel a lot safer about releasing Troy Reeder and then keeping him around through a practice squad and hire him as a coach than putting Dolak out there. I want to keep the young guys out there. All right. One of the things we didn't do, I want to break down the game. I was in Solvang, so it wasn't really a conducive place to talk about the Rams' 23-22 win. And I said it, and we've talked about it. Are the Rams fans rethinking, not in terms of being a starter, not in terms of being the future, but are we rethinking Stetson Bennett, not only as an NFL quarterback, but a viable number 2? And I think that's something to consider going forward. Is Jimmy G willing? Let's just say the Rams run the table this year. Let's just say they do something great and go the distance, and Stafford comes back for that final year. Let's say they draft a quarterback. Is Jimmy G really going to want to stick around and waste his early 30s when he can go someplace else and play? So yeah, I think Stetson Bennett is a viable number 2 if circumstances force it this year, and if the situation presents itself next year. Watching that final drive, speaking of Bennett, and the throws he made with confidence and trusting his receivers, that drop that Britton Covey had on the final drive, he drops the pass that Xavier Smith has been catching all August. Did you see that on that last drive? I didn't think that was a real good moment for Britton Covey. Xavier Smith's been making those catches. Brennan Presley is the winner of the 2025 Nelson Spruce Award. True Edwards, game winner, absolutely was incredible. And then the toss to Mario Williams for a touchdown. All those guys, Presley, Edwards, Williams, all of them are UDFAs. Note to Snead and Kroenke, give the scouting department a massive raise, or at least a significant bonus this Christmas, because they keep bringing in talent. Now, do we think these guys are all going to be, Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua? No, we're not saying that. But they're bringing in guys that can play. And then let's just talk about Bennett's touchdown pass to Mario Williams. Jubilee McFrickin' Dunbar, right? That's all I could think when he put that thing on a rope, the long throw touchdown pass to Mario Williams. That was absolutely amazing. It might have been one of the best throws I've ever seen at any time. It was just a brilliant throw, brilliant read, brilliant anticipation, and more importantly, a guy that was confident getting the ball out of his hands, and nothing soft or passive. Hey, let's check down. Let's play it safe. I don't want to screw up anything because I'm afraid I won't make the team. No, what Stetson Bennett did there was just outstanding, that first drive, ending with Bennett going to Kanata Muntfield. Is it Kanata Muntfield? Looked too easy against the Chargers' first-team defense. Yeah, that looked almost too easy. So think about this. He goes the length of the field mostly against number ones. There's some number ones out there. Yeah, Khalil Mack, Derwin James, they weren't out there, but the rest of them were out there, and he scores a touchdown, leads to a touchdown drive. His final drive, people are going to be saying, well, he was playing against 2s and 3s and UDFAs. He was throwing to UDFAs, right? And did you see his offensive line on that final drive? We'll get to that in a minute. Let's press on here. Let me see, you guys have come in with more questions. I do appreciate you being here on a hot Friday, but we're back in the RamCave, which makes me happy. USA expat, will the player, let's see. Tim Powers, Irvine. Stafford probably said, what the heck? I'm padding up come what may. What did they say? They released it, what he's made this year in his career as a quarterback, $364 million playing quarterback. Yeah, that's pretty special right there. Let's see. He has nothing to lose except maybe ability to walk and feeling in his limbs. USA expat, game 1, throw to X-Man. Game 2, throw to Williams. There you go. Rams Mom, thank you for joining us. Appreciate you being here. Rams Wyatt Bull has yet to allow a pressure on 62 protection snaps this preseason. Wyatt Bowles is getting significant playing time there at left guard. Significant playing time. And he moved to center after Lampkin went down. The game started, and I'll go over this. The game started with Limmer at center and Justin Dedick at right guard. Then in the second half, those two guys flip-flopped. Dedick went to center, Limmer went to right guard. And then Lampkin moved from left guard to center. I think it was in the fourth. Was it in the fourth? And then he got banged up. Limmer came in to finish a series. And then Wyatt Bowles, who had looked like he was done for the night, he went in and finished the game at center. So Wyatt Bowles, you're on that one, Rams Mom. I think he's going to make this team. Brian Smith, USA expat. No, every team has their own players they want to develop. I agree with you, Brian, but I also think I do like what the Rams do. I'd want them. Okay. Willie Bowen. Hi, Joe T. Bennett and Jimmy G should be kept as the quarterbacks behind Stafford. I agree, unless someone's offering me a first-round pick. USA expat. Wanting and doing are two different things. Tim Powers. Bennett's fourth down prayer was all Presley surrounded by bullets. Man, that should get him a spot on the team, man. That should get him a spot on the team. You know how they always talk about reworking the draft? Oh, did you see my fantasy football championship ring there? They talk about reworking the draft. I think after this preseason, he can go 7th round, maybe 6th round if they go again. We'll see if he does anything more. Speaking of Xavier Smith, based on his playing time right now, I'm hoping he's not on the bubble. I don't think he is, or I'm hoping he's also not being showcased. I was glad he didn't play much beyond those initial series. I think he was out of the game by late in the second quarter. But Xavier Smith has really looked excellent this preseason, along with Mumfield. Smith and Stoops were the guys that started, and so did Davis Allen exclusively at tight end. Terrence Ferguson back on the field today, did not dress, but Mark Redmond got snaps, as did Castles McCallan, the other guy there at tight end that's going to get cut. Snaps. Let's look at the center, at the offensive line real quick here. Quisenberry opened at left tackle, Wyatt Bowles at left guard, Bo Limmer at center, Dedick at right guard, Warren McClendon at right tackle. I think after the third drive, KT Leviston came in and replaced Quisenberry at left tackle and played well. I think even PFF gave him a good grade. And Akiri replaced McClendon at right tackle when they got to the 2-minute drill. In the second half, Leviston was still there. Lampkin came in and was at left guard, Dedick at center, Limmer at right guard, Arcuri at right tackle. Second drive, it was Leviston, Bowles, Lampkin, Dedick, and Arcuri. And then third drive, Leviston, Arcuri at left guard. Then it was Lampkin at center, Limmer at center, Bowles at center. Dooley came in at right guard, and Trey Wettig came in at right tackle. I think Wettig and Dooley, they are guys that are going to get cut and maybe put on the practice squad. I think the Rams like Wyatt Bowles. I'd be surprised, right? I know everyone's hot for Willie Lampkin, and maybe the injury allows them to stash him a little bit. I don't know. I don't know the severity of the injury, but it is interesting to see how the Rams UDFAs have played really, really well. Let's see. Brian Smith, teams won't poach our practice squad guys. The team that claims has to activate practice squad players to their own roster. I agree, but before they get to the practice squad, they have to clear waivers. Brian Smith, Xavier Smith is on the 53-man roster. I would think so. Absolutely. Willie Bowen, Xavier Smith should be involved with some receptions from the LA Rams quarterbacks. Willie, I like Xavier Smith a lot. I just do. Rams mob, any chance Parkinson's gets traded or cut? I'm wondering if one of these receivers could force the Rams issue. I think as they finished last year with 4 tight ends, no problem with Higbee, Allen, Parkinson, and Long. And Long is gone now. Parkinson's replaced him. I'm wondering if one of these receivers, like a Brennan Presley, could cause the Rams to rethink that. I'm just wondering, but they have talked about more 12 personnel. And that's something really to keep an eye on, Rams Mob. I think that's a great point to raise. Brian Smith, when was the last time someone poached our practice squad? Ooh, I got a name for you. But I can't remember it right now. Putting me on the spot there, Brian Smith. Let's see. Okay, Manny and Willie saying hello. Rams poached the Eagles practice squad last year. They took Dylan McMahon, the guy that's disappeared. There you go. I got another name. I can't remember it right now. USA Expat. I believe Tutu, X-Man, Forbes are our top 3 4-3 40 players. Oh, you know what? I never even put it that way. Definitely Tutu. Let's see. Dano. Good to have you, Dano. Pastor Joe. Ronnie Rivers, odd man out. Ronnie Rivers, odd man out. All right. Willie saying hi to everybody. Bill, does Kendrick's cornerback make this team? He's playing late into the game. That one's kind of curious about Darian Kendrick. He's playing late into the game, and that can cause you for thought. Looking at the defense, Keir Thomas played 17 snaps, played mostly the first quarter, and then he was out of the game. Josiah Stewart didn't play at all. So, boom, he's on this roster. Brennan Jackson got 43 sacks and he got 43 snaps, but he also got 2 snacks. Let's back that up. Brennan Jackson got 43 snaps. He also got 2 sacks. But I didn't think he was that great on the edge. I don't know what his PFF grade was. But the fact that Stewart and Keir Thomas were off the field, Nick Hampton only played 28 snaps, tells me that Brennan Jackson is in danger. And I know some people were singing his praises. I'm not. I like Brennan Jackson. But that's not a good look to be playing that late. So, and Keir Thomas keeps getting off the field. He keeps starting and then he gets off the field. I think the Rams are ready to commit to Keir Thomas. A lot of playing time late for Darian Kendrick. I think he had 26 snaps playing into the 4th. There was Sean Jolly, Charles Woods, AJ Green. People are starting to become high on AJ Green. They played a lot of snaps. And then Tanner Eagle, right? Tanner Eagle thumped a few people there, and he made some noise, right? So he's a name to keep an eye on. Josh Wallace didn't play long. He played, 10, 12, 15 snaps? Josh Wallace is a corner/safety, so his versatility might mean that he's going to make this squad. Let's see here. What do we got? Boom, 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 boom. Willie Bowen, make Cody Schrader a fullback. Never gives up. Brian Smith, remember when we were going to lose Lance McCutcheon if he didn't make the final roster? Me too. Did they keep him after 2022? Did they? Or did he go someplace else? Anyway, give me a hard time. It's okay, Brian. You can give me a hard time. Rams Mob. I never liked the Brennan Jackson pick. To be honest, Keir is better. I was rooting for Brennan Jackson, but the Rams' commitment to Keir Thomas and then seeing where he is right now in the depth chart leads me to believe Keir is staying and and Jackson is going. Bill, Jolly played himself off the team on Saturday. I think it's going to be tough for Jolly. I do. I think if you had to go Jolly or Darian Kendrick, I think you'd go Darian Kendrick. AJ Green is a name to keep an eye on. I've heard a lot of different things about AJ Green, and you see him making plays out there. Someone to keep, again, everybody's keeping an eye on these guys. Organizationally, I thought letting Aubrey Pleasant do the work as the HC is brilliant. It's something that McVay does really well. But I will say this, I think this is a great job opportunity for Aubrey Pleasant. This is a great, showcase for Aubrey Pleasant. So why burden him with an interview from the booth when he's doing this thing? Why bring that horrible Rams preseason booth into interaction with Aubrey Pleasant when he's basically having a job interview? Well, why do that, right? And it was another horrible job by the Rams broadcast crew. You could start it up from the commentators all the way up to the directors and the producers. I thought it was just terrible. And I cannot stand the player interviews while the game is going on. We're not fanboys, right? We're football fans. I really don't need to hear about what's going on in the other game, what's going on person. We know all this stuff. We know why they're not playing. We know, how do you think the team's developing? Really? Do you really care what someone is saying about having teams developing really good? Like they're going to say something awful, right? And we want to focus on the game. So here's my idea of it. Stop using the split screen. Okay, if we got to hear the audio, fine, but give me the full screen so I can watch the game. Classic example was Kobe Turner during his interview. He hears noise. He turns away from the camera and looks onto the field and asks what happens. Problem was, he asked the announcing crew, and of course, they didn't have a clue about what happened, but Mina Kimes came into the rescue and was right on top of it, and she asked Turner if he had any new music coming. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I'm sorry. It's just weak, right? It's weak sauce. And good Lord, Stetson Bennett fires down the field to Smith, who makes the catch, and the broadcast team director has no freaking clue. Also, if the coach players are talking again, give us the full screen. We can hear the audio. We don't need to see them. So yeah, I was very frustrated by some of that stuff. Well, the part that bugs me is folks like us and you and others give great opinions that they should be giving better opinions. They should be better at what they do, right? There's a reason. Like somebody makes a mistake out there. Even when I was covering high school football, a little bit of other stuff, but mostly high school football at Mid-Valley Sports, is that I was being paid to get it right. I was being paid to get it right. So you better get it right. Kistler Law pays me to get it right. So you better get it right. You're being paid to do that. And these people, man, I know back when Turner Overdrive sang it, but these people are living it. They are taking a free ride for sure. There you go. Let's see. Brian Smith. McCutcheon's been bouncing around from practice squad to practice squad since, Joe. I agree. He has. Do you think any of those guys that played for the Rams on Saturday night, any of those three, Mumfield, 7th round, Edwards, Presley, any of those guys, Mario Williams, think any of them are better receivers than Lance McCutcheon? I think they might be a little more polished route-wise. But I'll take your opinion on that. Bill, I hate the interviews. They take away from the game and they last too long. Exactly. Preach. Brian Smith, the final cuts deadline next Sunday. Was it the 26th? I thought I read the 26th there, Mr. Smith. Steve Ramirez, I don't mind since it's an exhibition game. No, but Steve, that defeats the point. You want to see what's happening on the field because you're not going to see these players again. You want to see who they kept and why they kept him. You want to be able to pick up that little bit that gives you confidence that says, no, man, keep this dude. We like this guy, right? Anyway, that's just how I feel. Brian Smith, Tuesday, August 26th, looks like the final cut deadline. Okay, we were there. Forgotten Locale, just watched the Chargers broadcast this time. Noah Eagle, Dan Fouts are way better. Oh, I got that recorded. I should go back and take a look at that. Dano, Pastor Joe, tell us how you really feel. Love it. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Thanks, Dano. Tim Powers, preach. I hate the sideline interviews. It's like the interviewing the coach going into the locker room at halftime. And the NFL is so full of stupid these days. I can't even describe it, but they've been doing this for a long time. What bit of information are you going to get that's going to go, oh, wow, McVay gave us some scoop on his way to the locker room, right? Hey, we got to take care of the ball. Oh, so-and-so is injured. It's next man up, right? It's like we got to be a little more consistent and better on first down, right? All those stupid things, that's all they ever say. And if the sideline reporter was worth their weight, they'd push back and say to their producer, these are stupid questions to ask. Wait until after the game. Help me. Camp notes. Okay, we talked about Stafford. I thought it was interesting that I caught Coward after news of Stafford broke. So I saw it on delay, and I couldn't believe the ignorance of Colin Coward or the laziness. It's off the charts. To say he said this, not that he didn't know, and this was probably done before news came that Stafford was practicing today, but he used this line. He said, the Rams have no contingency plan in place in case Stafford goes down. What an embarrassing line for a guy that's as talented as anybody, right? I name a couple of people that are absolutely incredible radio personalities. You don't have to like them. You do not have to like them, but they know their stuff. They were great. Rush Limbaugh, Art Bell, and I will never say that dude that just got canned, Howard Stern. I don't think he was talented at all. But Colin Coward, when it comes to sports, is an amazingly talented broadcaster and radio guy. Amazingly. But to say that the Rams have no contingency in place in case Stafford goes down was absolutely embarrassing. Saying the team can win the Super Bowl or win 4 games if Stafford goes down. They have a Super Bowl quarterback on the depth chart there in Jimmy G, who got to a Super Bowl, who Coward used to sing all the praises about, right? They have an improving Stetson Bennett. And who would we trust in an emergency over any of those guys? John Wolford, Bryce Perkins, Blake Bortles, Brandon Allen. Yeah, Rams have gone into seasons with those guys as their backup quarterbacks. But this time they go in with Jimmy G and Stetson Bennett, and they have 2 number 1s in next year's draft. To say they have no contingency, height of weakness. Too many days off, Mr. Coward. Too many days off. McVay gave a great report on Larry Jackson, said he's doing great. He's keeping in shape. He's added muscle. Mentally and physically, he's getting ready. It's just some of the full-time activities he can't handle now. So all that looks like it's trending really, really well. So I'm very excited about that. But the only guy you don't hear about, and he was up on the depth chart. In fact, he even passed Bo Limmer on the depth chart when the end of summer came. It was Dylan McMahon. He was going to be the second center, right? And we know he tweaked something, hurt something, and we haven't gotten one report on him at all. And his injury, if this is something serious, something that's going to put him on the IR, this is good news for a Justin Diedick. It's good news for a Wyatt Bowles. It's good news for a Willie Lampkin, depending on what his injury is. So, yeah, something definitely is going on there. Keep looking for that. If anyone's got news on Dylan McMahon, let me know. Let's see, Bill. I think the Rams are breaking offensive yards records this preseason. Yeah, I know. They said Stetson Bennett's leading the NFL in passing, and I think he's played every minute of every game except the last series last week against the Cowboys. And I think Steve Ramirez was hitting on that earlier. Is that no? I wouldn't let Bennett play much in the last week. Right? Let Dresser win, live the dream. You've seen what you need to see from Bennett, and he gives the Rams 3 solids in the quarterback room, and that keeps them healthy. Brian Smith, Seahawks D looking for real. Not a fan of them. I think based on what I heard after last night, man, geez, that way everyone was talking, put the Seahawks and the Bears in the NFC Championship game, right? I mean, that's the way everyone's talking about them. I still have doubts about the Seahawks. I'll get to that there in a second. But ESG, those interviews are so cliched. Absolutely. Willie Bowen calling them the Sea Chickens. Brian Smith, indeed. Rams Mob, KT Leviston or McClendon. Right now it's McClendon, but I think KT Leviston's given himself an opportunity, right? Rams didn't stash him last year. Well, they stashed him. They did. He was on the 53. He was never really activated. Remember, he was on the injured list and such, but they never tried to pass him through to the practice squad. Something that I think is worth noting. And he's played pretty well. Is it enough? I don't know. We'll see. I don't think you got DJ Humphries, Quisenberry, and KT Leviston on this team. McClendon, I think, is going to be on this team. But I think Quisenberry might get traded. I think there might be a team out there that needs a veteran with his experience. So I think someone could get moved. Dresser Wynn got cut from a CFL team. Yeah, no, he's just before he goes back to Dunder Mifflin, can't we just let Dresser have a few moments, right? I don't think he's got any future there. ESG talking about hype. All right. Let's see. Brian Smith. Dylan McMahon is listed as Dodson's backup on the depth chart. He's on the 53 from the sounds of it, but he hasn't played. Everyone behind him, around him, has played, and I heard he was injured. So I just want to know, man. I want to know. Bill, it's time to give credit to our offensive line coach. Yes, it is. It is, absolutely. McMahon is the type of guy that would get poached, as the Rams did last year. Absolutely. Let's go. Let's keep rolling here. I'm looking at the roster right now, what you guys are talking. Hey, is it Kanata? I keep blowing that name. Not sure about that one. I am curious about DeJuan Johnson. I thought he played well, or Deswan. Never know how to spell it. But I prefer him over Laurel Murchison. But they're two to keep an eye on. Bill Norton, Decarius Hawthorne, DeJoun Terry, even Jack Heflin, who I liked. Was it Norton or Heflin that tipped the pass the other night? I can't remember. But right now they say Tank Davis is playing well, Ty Hamilton, Poona Ford, Kobe Turner, Braden Fisk. And then you kind of get into that DeJuan Johnson, Laurel Murchison mix right there, trying to figure out what they're going to do. That's worth watching as well. We've talked about the secondary. We talked about all that stuff. Okay, can I bring this up real quick? I think Mr. Powers from Irvine brought it up last week or a week before. You know, it's really time to show some respect to Elroy Hirsch's legacy and put away number 40 for good. Come on, this guy's a Hall of Famer. You won championships with this guy. You went to championship games with this guy. Come on, he was your GM for years. Just go the distance and retire Elroy Hirsch's number, right? No. We're going to be more focused on doing something stupid that the NFL wants us to do instead of focusing on our history. This is why you're not going to catch up to the Packers, the Chiefs, the Steelers, the Cowboys in terms of your fan base and history and everything, because you're foolish enough, whoever is out there doing this, you're issuing Elroy Hirsch's number. Help me. Someone help me on this one, please. All right, we're going to go around the NFL and other places. Willie Bowen, Sea Chickens, and Teddy Bears aren't going anywhere. I agree. LA Rams has more depth than the Pacific Ocean. I like that one, Willie. Brian Smith, Rams tendered McMahon in March. He's on the team. They tendered him. I know he's on the team, but can he make the team, right? He can get the job, but can he do the job? I'm just curious. There's nothing they gave Dylan McMahon that's going to guarantee he's on the roster. I know they like him. If they feel like he's going to recover, yeah, he's going to be on the team, but I don't think that's 100% guarantee. Let's see here. ESG, the NFL will retire a male cheerleader outfit before they retire number 40 for the Rams. Yeah, but this is within the Rams' power, and they won't do it. Drives me crazy. And by the way, do you think the NFL is misreading? Again, among other things they're misreading. There have been male cheerleaders before. The Rams have had male cheerleaders before. But why are they advancing it so much? Again, this last dash for relevance by the woke mob, the whole end zone encouragements and all that social justice stuff. And again, does the NFL not get it? Or are we seeing a culture shift where people are just talking about it more? They're sick of being yelled at and told what to do, right? I guess I've been yelling and preaching a lot today myself, but I think people are just tired of it, right? And I'm sorry, cheerleaders are chicks, right? Guys can help out, but no one goes to see the guys. And why do the guys have to move like girls? Anyway, I digress. Anyway, all right, Dylan Gabriel, what? I didn't pick up anything about what Dylan Gabriel said as a shot at Shedeur Sanders. I just didn't see it. I thought that was a bit of a reach. It would have been nice if his tight end had reached a little bit on that pick 6. I think he stuck it to Dylan Gabriel, and Dylan Gabriel had a right to be more upset about that. Dolphins signed 33-year-old veteran Matthew Judon, who was with the Falcons last year. It looks like he's about over. Speaking of former Dolphins, former Dolphin cornerback Xavier Howard, first-round pick, 2016, 2015, is signed with the Colts. The Eagles swapped 2026 sixth-rounders with the Texans. They sent a backup tight end to the Texans, and the Eagles got former Alabama wide receiver John Mechie. He was the dude that back in 2022 battled leukemia, came back, and has been a backup receiver there in Houston for a couple years. Maybe he catches some fire being reunited with some Alabama alum. What other stuff here? Daniel Jones should be the starting quarterback in Indy. I'm sorry, I'm out on Anthony Richardson. NCAA comes down on Michigan. It's not here yet, but I'm thinking about doing a week of shows wearing a Michigan shirt. NCAA coming down on Michigan is as ridiculous as Ted Kennedy and Joe Biden questioning Clarence Thomas about sexual misconduct, right? Please, just shut up and go away, right? NCAA questioning anybody about anything. It's the most corrupt group there is, right? Because did they take away any Wolverine wins? Did they put the Wolverines on probation? No. The NCAA is vermin. They shook Michigan down for a fat check. That's all they did. Because I remember the screws they really stuck to Ohio State, right? For those players selling their merchandise, right? I remember the hours-long investigation of Cam Newton going to Auburn, right? I remember all those deep dives. Corrupt organization, and I'll always quote Jerry Tarkanian when he says the NCAA was so mad at UCLA, they put Nevada, Las Vegas on probation. There you go. Speaking of former Rams quarterback Bryce Perkins, who I liked. Rams kept on the roster for 2 years, never put him on the practice squad. Bryce Perkins, UFL MVP, was signed by the Carolina Panthers because Andy Dalton went down. And so good for Bryce Perkins. I always liked him. I didn't think he got a fair shot. I was upset when the Rams signed Baker Mayfield because I thought the way that season had gone in 2022, he should have just let Bryce Perkins play out the string. They kept him on the roster for so long, but that really worked out well for everybody. I was stunned that Bryce Perkins, after winning UFL MVP, wasn't put on somebody's roster already. Longtime former Rams snapper Jake McQuaid has signed with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Let's see here. Looking at the Texans, since the Rams are playing the Texans in week 1, last year's second-round pick Blake Fisher sprained an ankle. He was playing right tackle. And they're already without Cam Robinson. They're out without Titus Howard. And they've got serious stuff going on there on their offensive line. And just as I suspected, the middle of their defense is a donut. The Rams need to beat the Texans by multiple possessions when they come. Chargers, we brought this up on Friday, is why was Harbaugh playing starters 48 seconds into the game, and Quentin Johnston's laid out by Tanner Engel and has a concussion, right? And then the other thing I'll throw out there, don't we agree Trey Lance is already the Bolts' number 2 quarterback, right? He's made some beautiful throws in their first 3 games. And, why isn't Taylor Heineke, I liked him for a while, but Trey Lance has really played well. And I think if you develop him more, you get more opportunity there. Did anybody see Ashton Genty truck the 49er cornerback Diamondore Lenore? Did you see that in the Raider 49er game, right? Which, again, why is Kyle Shanahan playing starters given the 49ers history of injury? Why is he playing Lenore in that preseason game? And Ashton Genty just trucked him. It wasn't quite Earl Campbell, Isaiah Robertson, but he got trucked in that scene there. Raiders offensive line is coming together. Speaking of injuries and speaking of the 49ers, Dominic Puny, their starting right guard, has a PCL injury that is expected to make him miss a few weeks. Nick Zekjel, who was supposed to be their left guard, but lost his job to a 7th rounder, is moving over to right guard. Jake Brendel is getting older. Colton McKivitz is okay. Trent Williams is older than time. They're in trouble there. And then on top of that, they lost backup running backs Patrick Taylor, Corey Kiner. Before that, they've lost Isaac Guerrero, and Jordan James. I think James is gone for the year. And they had to sign Jeff Wilson last week. These are the young guys that are going down in Frisco. The young guys like Puny, who's promising. And these guys are supposed to ease the load for Christian McCaffrey. So something to think about. Talking about the Seahawks, and everyone's all excited about the Seahawks. If they're running Shanahan's offense with the fullback, right? I know that's Willie Bones' fantasy come true, the fullback. I kind of expect Chris Shula and the Rams have some familiarity with that Shanahan offense, the way it's run by Kyle Shanahan. And do you think the Rams might be a little bit familiar with Sam Darnold? And yes, Gray Zabel is playing really well, but have all the Seahawks offensive line issues gone away? Not too worried about them. Cardinals, Jonathan Gannon let his assistants call the plays in the 27-7 loss to Denver this past weekend. My note to Gannon is win a couple of playoff games or get a couple of playoff berths before you go the McVay route, bro. You're not there yet. All right, let's see what else we got here. Boom, 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 boom. I love the female Sunbeams cheerleaders. Okay. It's Willie Bowen. Brian Smith, over half of the second stringers haven't played in the preseason. Very simple search to find in the depth chart. But Warren McClendon's a backup, right? Warren McClendon's a backup. Bo Limmer's a backup. You think Bo Limmer's not going to make the team? I mean, I will go back with you, Brian. I'll dance with you. I'll be the first one to say I'm wrong. But McMahon, I'm just saying you're not hearing anything. And I'm not saying he's going to get cut, but I'm saying he might have an injury that causes him to be put on the IR. I'm very, very curious. ESG, now that they pay the college athletes, what is the point of the NCAA? Good point, as Brian Smith echoes. I agree. Steeler fan Rob, gotta love the Bungles defense. Hey, how do you feel about Skylar Thompson there, Steeler fan Rob? Brian Smith, I guess sign stealing cases. Everyone steals signs. I think it's just such weakness there. Brian Smith, Benton Whitley was poached from the Rams practice squad by KC last year, Joe. There we go. There we go. Thank you, Brian. Michael Negretti, the Charger players were dropping like flies. Boom. Tim Powers wants to bring back Pom Pom Mom. I think I got a picture of Pom Pom Mom. Pom Pom Mom. All right. Brian Smith, oops. Whitney was 2022. He's bounced around the league since then. Whitley. Okay. No problem there. You helped me out, Brian. Thank you. Samuel Ainsley, howdy, Joe. Stafford's back, going to be ongoing game-to-game issue. I'm already tired of it. I don't know. I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about it. Michael Negretti, Bo knows football. All right. Guys, I think I've told you before, I kind of worked right through the commercial. I'm Joe Charosian, sports writer for 20 years, one of the founding guys at Mid-Valley Sports. I don't work there anymore. I just contribute. And they're in the room with the Chargers. They cover the Chargers. They have some concerns. And while being excited, they have some concerns. But I do RamView, thanks to our sponsors at Kistler Law. And so we appreciate them. If you have an auto issue here in California, you might want to check out Kistler Law. Believe me, I know. So they support me as well as you guys buying my books. I don't have a Patreon account. I don't have a paywall. So buying my books that are on Amazon, just type in my name, buy them all because they help me pay the bills. I pastor a very small church in Burbank called Burbank Faith Nazarene. And we're right here on YouTube, Burbank Faith Virtual, and BurbankFaithVirtual.com, Burbank Faith Virtual, all across social media. And also check out our podcast from the RamCave and on Spotify and iHeart. We do appreciate your support in these matters. All right. I think we got most of that stuff in there. Brian Smith, the Willie Lampkin dream is over. Do you know something more, Brian? Was there an injury is it a bigger injury than we thought? My thought about Willie Lampkin is, yeah, okay, I'm happy with Willie Lampkin, but Rams Mob brought up Wyatt Bowles, and that guy's got me thinking. ESG, yes, Brian, the athletes don't even go to class. Yeah, I just think, well, why are they even playing games with the NCAA? Just the Big Ten, SEC, just start their own league, just their own organization, right? And move away for football, right? Throw the crumbs of every other sport to the NCAA, but just move away. Just move away. All right. I think we got most of our stuff in there. Let's see. Oh, good.
Stay in your lane, bro.
Okay. No, that's not the one I wanted. I wanted that one.
It was a stone group, my man.
All right. Here we go. This day in Rams history. 1975. Otto Stowe retired. He was in camp with the Rams and retired. Played with the Dolphins in 71 and 72. Got traded to the Cowboys for Ron Sellers and a second-round pick. And that second-round pick turned into Benny Malone, who had a nice little run there with the Dolphins. He came to the Rams as compensation for Phil Olsen signing with Denver, and he decided to retire. On this date in 1975, former Rams punter Dave Chappell retired after a tryout with the New England Patriots. Speaking of the Patriots, on this day in 1976, the Rams waived running back Minnie Macaron. That's a story for another time. 5'4", remember Macaron? And he was on the cover of one of the Pro Football magazines. It said, Minnie Macaron, he may be small, but oh so super a Patriot. And I remember that. Someone's calling me from Louisiana. I don't want to call from Louisiana. There we go. Let's see what else we got here. On this day in 1989, the Rams acquired tight end Pat Carter from the Detroit Lions for a 4th-round pick. Carter played 10 seasons in the NFL. He had been a 2nd-round pick out of Florida State, and he caught 50 passes with the Rams while they were in St. Louis. So he had a nice run there. And then on this date, the big story from this date comes from 1977. The Rams traded Jack Hacksaw Reynolds. Did you repeat that from you? Rams traded on this date Hacksaw Reynolds to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Did you know that? They did. They traded him. After the 76 season, several Rams had played out their options. Remember, there was no free agency. Among them were Ron Jaworski, Harold Jackson, Tom Mack, Cullen Bryant, and Jack Reynolds. And the friction and frustration was after the team's 3rd consecutive NFC title loss. James Harris was traded in June that year because Joe Namath was signed. Reynolds signed his contract after disputing with the front office, but then the Rams dealt him to the Bucs, who were heading into their 2nd season after going 0-14 in 1976. So good for John McKay. But Jack Reynolds refused to report to Tampa, and the trade was canceled. The Rams were approached by the Washington Redskins, then under the control of George Allen, who was with the Rams in 1970 when the Rams drafted Reynolds in the 1st round. But the Skins didn't have a draft pick or the picks the Rams wanted. Remember, Allen was the founding father of blank them picks. 1 week later, the Baltimore Colts came in as a third party. The Colts were looking for a tough guy at middle linebacker to replace Mike Curtis, who left the team in 76 to play for Seattle. They'd send a 2nd pick and an unnamed player to Tampa, and Tampa would send their picks to the Rams, who would then send Reynolds to Baltimore. But the deal fell through. Curtis went to the Redskins, and Reynolds remained with the Rams through 1980. And in 1981, the Rams put him in the street. He signed with Frisco, won a Super Bowl in 81, won another one in 84, and he should be in Canton. And I've heard his health is not good. My final ongoing thought is that there should be a Ring of Honor placement at Levi Stadium for the Rams and all the good they did the 49ers in the 1980s. They gave them essentially Jack Reynolds, Wendell Tyler, Charles Haley, Steve Wallace, and Hall of Famer Bryant Young. The Rams have done the 49ers so many favors, they should be giving them a ring, right? There we go. Finally, born on this day, I think it was in 1964, Clifford Hicks. Clifford Hicks out of Oregon was a 3rd-round pick of the Rams, spent the bulk of his career as a punt returner, appeared in 3 of the Bills' 4 Super Bowls, came back to the Rams briefly at the end of his career. And then tomorrow, we're not on the air, but we do want to make mention that August 19th, 2023, Maxie Bond passed away at the age of 85. He was a linebacker, played for the Rams for 5 seasons, 1966 through 70. He was a George Allen favorite. In the 60s, he was in 9 Pro Bowls, 5-time second-team All-Pro, 2-time All-Pro, and was one of the Ramskins in that big deal that went to Washington. Dude should be in the Hall of Fame, should have been in the Hall of Fame 1,000 years ago, but he wasn't, but he does merit remembrance. Okay, I think we got it all in, the 49-minute mark. All right, let's see. Steve Ramirez taking a shot. How about those Padres? I've refrained from my baseball talk because my Mets are 5 games out in the East, so I've had to back off on my baseball talk. Let's see. Brian Smith, he's too raw. He would make a Jeff Fisher team, though. Are you talking about Wyatt Bowles there, Brian? USA expat. Talked to Hacksaw after a playoff game, and he didn't have enough strength left to barely shake my hand. Really? Which playoff game was that? Because I'm thinking Rams beat the Redskins at home in 74. They beat the Cardinals at home in 75. They went on the road in 76. In 77, they lost to the Dolphins. 78, they beat the Vikings. Oh, was that the 78 game then? All right, good for you. That was another heartbreaker, man. That was another heartbreaker. That was the one that was followed up with a 34-10 win over the Vikings. I think that ended Fran Tarkenton's career, and it turned into a 28-0 loss the following week. Man, the Rams running back room was so devastated. They signed Anthony Davis at the end of that year. They also brought in Jerry Latin from the Cardinals. Remember how bad it was? Capoletti got hurt so bad he didn't even play in 79. It was Colin Bryant, Jim Jodat. Jim Jodat got significant snaps in that NFC Championship game in 78. Brian Smith, Willie Lampkin is the one you were talking about. Okay, all right, I hear you. So how do you feel about Wyatt Bowles? If you can get that to me in the next minute. I'm looking at other things. Okay, Wednesday, I will not be on the air Wednesday. I'm going to be up in Hume Lake. And then Friday, because I'm coming back home after that, and on Friday, I'm going back out on the road for the last weekend of my vacation. I might slip in a broadcast Friday morning, very briefly, just to get that taken care of. And we'll go from there. And I'll see how the weekend plays out in terms of going on the air. I'll be in a hotel room instead of at a family member's house. So I should have more conducive atmosphere than I had this last weekend to go on the air. All right, cool. 51 minutes. We did it. Guys, please hit like, subscribe, share. We thank you for your support. Looking at more possibilities of expanding this. Willie Bowen, catch a lot of trout, Joe. You know, I'm actually going up to Hume Lake. It's the camp that's up there. It's the campground. They have something called a hotel room. And I'm not a rough it guy. I'm the kind of guy that sits on the patio and reads. So that's what I'm doing. There we go. Steve Ramirez, my Facebook group, asked today, what if the Rams showed up for the NFC title game and beat the Cowboys? Do they win the Super Bowl? You know, they beat the Steelers, 2 weeks before? Was that 2 weeks before? It was right at the end of the season there in 75. That was a great Ram defense. Great Ram defense. And it just kills me. I was at the game, Steve. You're killing me. No, I'm not a glamper at all. No. I paid my dues when I worked youth back in the 90s when I was a youth pastor. I like clean sheets, air conditioning, and access to Wi-Fi. There you go. Okay, guys, thanks for hanging with me. Everyone that's clicked on, Brian Smith, Tim Powers, Mike Negretti, ESG, Bill, USA Expat, Dano, all you guys, Willie, Manny. I like to acknowledge all you guys. You guys make it a lot of fun to be here. So thank you for your support. Thank you for your encouragement. And I will see you soon. And go Rams, right? Go Rams.